Right, another little box to open today. It's quite a small box this time, so whatever inside can't be very big, can it? But we're going to open this up, and again I bought something that was not definitively working, so it could be a very short video. But, let's have a look to see what we've got inside here. Pretty well wrapped. So I think you can see already it's some kind of small device. What exactly is it? Well, what it should be is a HP 620 LX, and that is indeed what it is. It's in pretty good condition by the looks of it. Not massively marked on the outside. Let's open up. Hinge works. That's nice. Looks pretty clean on the inside too. So this came out in 1998. It came with Windows CE 2. So this is kind of a second iteration of Microsoft's mobile operating system, Windows CE. That is supposed to be quite a lot better than Windows CE 1, and we're going to look at that in a bit. Get back to this though. So what's unusual about this is a couple of things. One is its colour. You can see from this logo here that it was their first colour handheld device. Obviously HP got a bit of a history with making handheld portable computers. We'll show you some of those in a bit. Keyboard's a bit rubbish, I suppose is the word. It's got hardly any feedback at all, and the keys don't really move down very much, and hardly any travel at all. But it's in good condition. The screen's a bit grubby. It has got its stylus, so a little button here, presses that and the stylus comes out, so that's nice. I was a bit worried that might be missing, but that's there. What else is of note? It's got on button here. It's got a record button because it does have a microphone and a speaker. You can take voice memos on it. It's got a Windows key. It's got a full keyboard. There's no function keys, but you have got this touch sensitive bar here, a bit like on a lot of other handheld devices for the time. And then there's some silkscreen ones here as well. So what else we got? So we've got the catch on the front. Some little vents here. I'm guessing that's for the microphone. But don't definitively know. Don't know much about this. There's a little cover here. So that's for the compact flash card, because it takes compact flash and PCMCIA cards. Power input. That's the stylus there, and then you've got the proprietary HP serial port here that's on a lot of their devices from this sort of era. Don't think that's a button, I think that's a window. That's probably the infrared. Battery along the back. There's a Kensington lock style thing here. There's a PCMCIA card here, and I'm guessing this is the release for it. Yes. So there's a card in there at the moment. 3 MHz, 56K modem, very, very common. One of the problems with PCMCIA cards is that you always lose a dongle, and because of that, 3Com came up with this quite clever connector. So this is, they call it the X-Jack connector. So they've got this on their modems and their network cards from around this time. Little thing that pops out, and you put your cable through it rather than in it, and that way you never lose your dongle because you don't need one. So that's nice to have. Look, little doors come down to cover it up. That's nice too. So that's how it would look when you're using it, and then you just pop it away when you don't need it. Very neat. This I think is an which just beeped at me. Does that mean there's some battery? Oh, there is some battery in it. Alright, that's interesting. The screen's really grubby and the contrast is pretty poor. I presume you can adjust that. So yes, contrast is adjustable here. The brightness isn't great. Let me see if we can see any of that on the screen. It's quite grubby. I'm going to clean it in a minute, but it's nice that there's some battery in there. Battery's working. In fact, we go to settings, control panel. So this does appear to be working as it's supposed to. I don't know how much you can see on the screen. I'm tilting it as best I can. Main battery is 3/4 full. That's very nice. Backup battery good, so it's obviously got a little coin cell in as well. Nice, so it is working. What we'll do is we'll give it a quick clean, have a quick play, compare it with some other things that are contemporary to it, and then see if we can get some software running on it in addition to what's already built in. So how do you turn it off? You press the on button, obviously. Brilliant. So here we've got the 620 that we just opened, and just wanted to share it in comparison with some other things that are available. So in terms of timeline, HP has its kind of LX range going back to the 95. I've got a 200 here. So this is from 1994. Then they moved on to Windows CE. So that was the last kind of DOS-based LX from HP. Then you went to Windows CE version 1. So this is the 300 from 1997. Then you went to 98, and then you went to 99 with the 690. So this is kind of the evolution of the HP over that time. Got a little bit bigger each time up to the 620. Okay, and 620 was quite light because it had a slightly bigger keyboard than the 300 series that preceded it, made it a little bit more practical. So that's one of the reasons it was very popular. The other reason it became popular is because colour was introduced. So all of these are monochrome devices, and then from here onwards, from 98 onwards, you start to get colour devices. The 690 is basically a slightly shrunk version on the outside, and twice as fast, with twice as much memory, give or take. It's got a slightly newer version of Windows CE, but it's not that new. So this is version 2, this is 2.11. Also, there's an improvement in the keyboard. So you can see this has gone for a kind of traditional style keyboard, but it is a little bit more cramped. If you compare the size, it's just a little bit smaller. Just a little bit more portable. But basically very similar specs in other regards. Half VGA screens, colour. This is just a little bit faster, about twice as fast. If you look at clock speeds. So that's how the HP evolved, and then the 720 and the 780, etc. came after that. So what else was happening at the same time? Well, at the same time in the monochrome era, as it were, in 93 you got the Psion Series 3A. So that was competitor to these, but there was a massive price difference between these two. This was roughly about half the price of the HP, if I remember, if not slightly more. So Psion 3As were extremely popular. They also had better battery life, but in other regards they're pretty similar. Slightly better keyboard in that it's slightly bigger, more spaced out because there's no numeric pad. Because this came with Lotus 123 built in, I think HP felt they had to put a numeric pad in there. The Series 3A, completely different, not DOS based, although it is using an Intel processor, and obviously the operating system for that becomes very popular in a little while. But this is 93, this is 94. Moving to 95, you get slightly bigger. You get this HP 300 and 320, but you also get the Psion 5 and 5MX, and they were much better in terms of keyboards. I don't know if you can see, okay, but this has a proper keyboard. This one's a little bit stiff on mine, but sometimes the feedback's a little bit better. Definitely better than the HP though. Also better battery life. Smaller screen, again not DOS compatible, not Windows compatible, but the Epoch operating system in here, and it has a life of its own. It's got a good developer support, lots of apps available for this, and a slightly better user space due to this clever hinge. But that's what was happening in 97. And the 680, as there was the first kind of, there's a transition here from black and white to, or monochrome, grayscale, to colour devices. So this is kind of the beginning of the colour devices. It is a little bit bulky compared to its immediate descendants. just as miniaturization came along. But as I said, one thing you can see here is that the screen and the keyboard from the 300 series to the 600 series has improved significantly. There's much more room to type on this. Don't know why there wasn't a 400 series. I mean, this is basically twice as good as the 300, so maybe they just bumped up the model numbers to reflect that. It's roughly twice as fast, twice as much memory. Version 1 to version 2, twice the operating system. So I don't know if that was their thinking. But this is what we're going to be concentrating on in this video. Looks like it's going to be a cleaning montage. Much better. So we've got the machine clean. What we also have now is a compact flash card with some CE software on. So this is stuff I've never used before, so just recently downloaded it from abandonware sites. We'll see if any of it runs. I think some of it may be designed to run on later versions of Windows CE, but we'll give it a go. I think with the early version of version 2, I think the maximum size of a partition is 2 GB, so I've chosen something smaller than that. I think once you go up to 2.11 or 2.13, I think maximum partition size increases to 32 GB. But we're going to try half a gigabyte size for now and see if that works. So let's turn it off. Find the compact slot. So do I put it in here? I think I do. That clicked in quite nicely. And then insert it. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to see the screen so well from here because the viewing angles are pretty poor. So let's try and get a view. Battery power may not be sufficient. Do I want to use a PC card on battery power? Yes, why not? So it's telling us the battery is running low and that the devices we've installed are going to eat up battery more quickly. Storage card warning. Would you like to format the storage card so the system can use it? Okay, so I formatted this in a Windows 10 PC asking for FAT, not exFAT, so I assumed it would give me FAT32, but obviously this device isn't happy with that. So let's format it in the device and then transfer it back to the PC to copy the data over. So let's click OK. That's very annoying. The storage card has been successfully formatted. OK. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that for now. So basically it wants us to run through a startup wizard, but we don't want to do that. We just want to crack on and use it. Setup is now complete. Brilliant. We didn't calibrate the screen. That may be an issue later on. We'll find out. So setup is now done. Okay, keep pressing done. Finished. Okay. So we seem to be in some kind of recording device. We don't want to do that. Yeah, we definitely need to recalibrate the screen because that's not working quite how we want it. So we can use the keyboard, use the Windows key, settings, control panel. Display is going to be under, isn't it? Oh, might be under stylus. Recalibrate. So again, I'm doing this from the side, so this may not be completely successful. It's not registering some of the touches. Is that because the screen is faulty in parts? Or am I just being too quick? I think I was just being too quick. New calibration settings have been measured. Press enter to accept. Okay, so let's see if it now. It's still a little bit off in this corner. It's very hard doing things from the side, and the viewing angle's pretty poor, so I can't see anything half as well as you can. So let's close the control panel. Let's close the help. This we don't want, so can we do... can't do Alt F4. Is there a home button? Is it one of these? I'm guessing that's for settings. Let's just exit using the menu. Oh, everything's loaded. Probably from when I was cleaning it and cleaning this touch bar. We'll come back to all of this stuff. Have a look at it a bit later. There we go, we're back at the desktop. Very good. I did play around with the contrast at the beginning, so let's just... Don't know how that looks to you. That looks pretty good to me from an angle. So what are we going to do? We're going to have a look on the storage card, but we just reformatted it. How do we choose the format? The SD card, compact flash card even. Go. Is there an equivalent of a file manager in here? My handheld PC, is that the equivalent of my computer? It kind of is, isn't it? Databases, B square programs, my documents, program file, storage card. Okay, so that's how you reference the storage card. There's nothing on it, as we know, because we just formatted it. So let's turn this off, take the card out, and put some stuff on it. I was just looking at how snugly the card, I'm just copying some data over on another card, but I just noticed how snugly the card fitted into this little tray. And what's really interesting is there's two little clips on the tray here and here, which I'd never noticed, but on the compact flash card there's two little recesses actually. So that just slots in there pretty well, lines up on these little cards, and it is pretty secure. It's very nicely engineered. Never noticed that before with compact flash cards. Okay, so here's the card we've been using to copy stuff over. Slot that in there, plug it in. Let's see if we can install anything of use. So, we're on my computer, won't we? Storage card. So, Microsoft Pocket PC 2002 Games Arcade Pack. Now, because that's 2002, it might be too new for this. Also, you've got the problem that there are 3 different ways, basically, of installing stuff on a Windows CE device. So basically, some apps were designed to be run on a desktop computer, on a Win32 based computer, and then they synchronize a cab file basically to the Pocket PC device using the serial cable. I haven't got a serial cable, so it's possible that some of these apps are actually Win32, not Windows CE apps, in which case they're going to refuse to install. But let's find out. There's a setup there, but it hasn't got an icon, which makes me think it's probably not a, so it's not a valid CE application. So this is designed to be run on a desktop and then synced over the serial cable to the device. So unfortunately that's not going to work. So the other way it works is that the installer is based, it's a Windows CE installer, and that's just going to work straightforward on this, but it wouldn't work on a desktop. So the opposite of the Win32 app. And the third way you can install things is just to copy the files over, the program files, create the directories, create the config files that you need. That's obviously quite a lot more hassle. So we're not going to do that. So this one looks like it's going to be no good to us. So we want to go back. Here we go. So this, I think, might be exactly the same. So again, the setup app hasn't got an icon. So I think that's yet another Win32 app. So let's go back. And this is basically another version of the same thing, I suspect. Yeah, so none of those are working, so that's fine. I did come across this other thing, which, again, because it's got an auto run, looks like it might be designed to run off a CD. So this may not work either. But this one does have a separate folder with the files in it. So it may be that we can actually install directly from one of these. Let's look at games, because that's just the easiest to demonstrate. Okay, so there's Arkanoid. Okay, and one thing about these early devices is that there were basically three main CPU architectures that were designed for these devices at the time. ARM was one, but it was a relatively small player at the time. Obviously that's now changed considerably, but the other ones were the MIPS and the SH3, I think, was it Samsung made that processor. So this is available in two different formats. Now this particular device has got the SH3 CPU, and it's actually displaying the SH3 app correctly, whereas the MIPS one isn't showing. So it looks like it's aware of what architecture it can install, if that makes sense. There is a README, but let's just try and install this, see if we can get it going. Panoramic software, Arkanoid. Okay, so in fact, there was no install at all. It looks like it runs directly from that executable. It's running extremely slowly. So is that just because it's in demo mode? No, that's how it is actually running. Oh my word. So basically, this is unplayable. So, as you can see, oh, I might get it. Oh yeah. So as you can see, the ball is moving extremely slowly, and the paddle's completely unresponsive. So that's obviously designed for a much faster processor. So let's give this one a miss. How do we exit the app? Do we press escape? Looks like we press escape. But we've got something running, so that's interesting. Let's go up. So Arkanoid, backgammon, how CPU intensive can that be? Now this one hasn't got the correct icon, so it's possible it's not for this architecture. Yeah, so it could be that it's a Windows 95 app, for example. So this came out in 97 or 98. So Windows 95 was the predominant operating system at the time. Windows 98 was just about to come out. So a lot of these installers would be Windows 95 installers. Let's have a look at this. Similar thing here, it's not showing the icon. Blocks 2. Okay, we've got another setup app. So it looks like what we're going to have to do for a lot of these apps is get a serial cable so we can install them. There is another way of doing it, apparently, though. You can potentially, if you can identify which is the data, you can potentially extract the correct files, because the Windows app basically is just a shell that contains the CE app, and it just plonks it in a particular place for the synchronization software to move it across. So you can extract that from the original setup file, apparently. Never tried it. Got some audio. So, yeah, it's not going to work. Comet defense, that sounds nice. That sounds good. No icon showing, so I'm not going to even try. Again, the same thing. So I think we need to go and buy a serial card to get this working properly. Stand any chance of getting these apps installed. Falling blocks. Oh, that sounds slightly Tetris-y. So you've got Tetris MIPS and you've got Tetris SH3. So this one should just run. Yay! Oh look, this one is actually going to be playable. Interestingly, it must be designed for Windows CE1 because it's black and white. Windows CE1 didn't support colour. It wasn't until CE2 that colour was supported. It's very hard playing it from an angle, but at least it's playable. And again, it's designed for a smaller screen as well. Well, that's not going to work. Oh, we need something else. That's not what I wanted, but that will work. Need some more of them. Okay, this is not going to plan. So, anyway, we've got one thing working. It's Tetris. It's not a great version of Tetris, but it is Tetris, and it's got audio, so that's all right. Let's pop it there. Sneak this one in. Let's see how. Yeah, you can do that. Nice. I like it when you can do that on Tetris. And I don't think we're going to sneak that one in. Okay, let's see if there's anything else we can run. There's a little menu up here. That's game, exit. So we found something else that runs, and this one actually runs reasonably well. Not sure what that is, but there is an SH3 version, so that's nice. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, it's loaded. Options. Okay, it's got Infocom logo. Maybe that's a text adventure, but you need the actual data files to make that work. I'm sure if we read the readmes, it would tell us. Invaders. Oh, please let this be Space Invaders. And there's an SH3 version. Yes. Oh no, fatal application error. So it doesn't say specifically why. I'm guessing it's because it's designed for a later version of Windows CE. Oh, I was looking forward to that. Right. So we know that we can get some apps that do run on this. We just need to curate some that are good for Windows CE with this processor, and then revisit this. We've got all the built-in apps, all the productivity type stuff. Let's see what's on there. So we've got accessories, we've got a calculator, got quick and expensible. Okay, so some of these are going to be HP specific and probably kind of range specific as well. Communication, so active sync, that's how you sync it using serial cable. PC link is different. I'm not sure why it's different. Active sync is the Microsoft one. PC link may be a kind of lap link type thing. Can't set the serial cable because there isn't one, but there you go. So I think that might be an HP specific thing. Games, so there is Solitaire on there. Office, you've got Office apps. So this must be still on one of the early versions of 2. Pocket Outlook, very good. The Internet, I suspect that's some form of Internet Explorer. And Windows Explorer. So let's see, it's not going to connect to anything. I'm just curious to see if it tells us what browser it is. Pocket Internet Explorer, doesn't say the version number. Copyright's 1997. That's pretty much what we were expecting. Help's not working. So we've got this thing, B Square Fax Professional. So this has got a modem in it, so whether that's a standard HP install or whether that's related to the modem and somebody's installed it, don't know. There's no faxes in the system. Voice recorder, that's Microsoft Voice Recorder, so that's not an HP specific one. Quick and expensible, and Month at a Glance Plus, that's an HP specific view of your calendar. Pocket PowerPoint's here actually, so maybe this is a later version. Let's just go to Control Panel, see if there's an about this computer type. System, that should tell us what the system is. So it's Windows CE version 2.0, so it is a really early build of 2. Tells us it's an Hitachi, not Samsung, Hitachi SH3. It's got 16 megabytes of RAM, and with these you can split the RAM that's on there to either to be processor RAM available to the operating system, or you can use it for flash storage essentially, and use the slider to choose between the two. We're going to need some onboard storage for running stuff and temporary files, but because we've got a compact flash extra storage, we can move some things around. At the moment it's split 8 megabytes each way. It's using about a megabyte of program memory at the moment, so 8 megs should be plenty, at least until we start running some apps. Okay, so let me go and curate some apps that we can use on here, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so we're back with the HP 620 LX. So I've put some new software on the SD card, compact flash card. So let's have a little look, see if it's any of it's better than what we were looking at earlier. So presumably one of these shortcuts is to the file manager. No, it appears not. So oh, there's one of these. We decided that was search, didn't we? And that was settings, and that's mail. What's this one? Nothing. Okay, so let's close this down. It's hard to do from the side. Oh. I can't work out whether that's the calibration of the screen or just the parallax for me doing it from an angle. So apologies if I keep bringing things up by chance. Let's use the cursor keys, that'll be easier. So we decided everything's on the storage card. So this is what I've found I think might work. All of these had the hint that they might be for this particular processor. So let's start with something simple. Notepad. Nope, not that. Pocket PC edition. No. No. Okay. Frotzy SH3. Is that a oh, this one we looked at before, isn't it? We need to have some actual data for this one to work. And we've got a folder here called Frotzy CE Games. So Acorn, is that Acorn Adventure from the BBC? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what these are. Whether this is an adventure, text adventure, interpreter. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with A. Great, they've done it to me again. You think yourself, The Acorn Core. Okay, so this is some kind of text adventure interpreter by the looks of it. So I'm not particularly a big fan of text adventures. Turn on machine. Is that going to work? The machine is old and encrusted, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's definitely a text adventure interpreter. That could be fun if that's your thing. It's not really my thing, but I might come back and have a look at that another day. What else have we got on here? So there is a port of Doom. I haven't copied over any WADs, and I wasn't sure whether, yeah, so you have to install that from a Windows PC, which is very much a shame. Out backspace isn't working. Control backspace. So let's go up. What else have we got? So Metro has got the correct icons. So these two both seem to be the same. What is Metro? It is literally a tube planner. Is it for the Paris Metro? It's not giving me any stations to choose, so maybe it's not working. Let's try the other version. The other app. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, so that could be a tube map type thing that isn't working. Unzip. Oh, we've got something that actually works. So, so it's an unzip. It's all very useful. Particularly some of those other files are going to be encrypted. Not encrypted, compressed. So you've got one thing that's potentially useful. No, there's no icon here, so I don't think that's going to work. So the reason we're having to actually look... oh, this looks promising. I'm very excited. I was a big fan of Battlezone in the arcade as a kid. Is anything gonna happen? No. Okay. Let's try again. No. Oh, that's a big shame. Should we play some media? Okay, so we've got some sound effects, but the actual game's not working. And the readme isn't working either. Can we force it to open a long tap? Doesn't seem to do anything. Else enter. No, so doesn't look like there's any way of opening this without renaming it to a text file, presumably. Anyway, so basically, one of the problems we've got is that to get apps on here reliably, I need a serial cable. And serial cable, so yeah, so serial port goes in here, but it's a proprietary shape connector. It's just a normal serial port, but you can't just plug a serial cable in there. And the last time I went looking, which was very recently, about the time I bought this, the serial cable for this are pretty expensive. In fact, the serial cable for these is nearly twice as much as I paid for this whole device. So that is a problem. It's quite hard to justify spending that much money on one. However, I have got a few of these, so if you spread the cost across all the devices, I suppose it's probably not bad value for money. But it just seems, to spend £50 on a cable, it seems excessive. See, do you agree with me? Put a comment down below. If you've got one for sale at a reasonable price, let me know. I will buy it off you. But I think I might have to end up spending a shed load of money on a cable unless one comes up soon. Because without the cable, we can't install anything on here. And without the cable, we can't sync anything to this. So, you know, even if we could get the Word and the Excel to work, syncing that with a desktop is going to be quite tricky. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to end this video on a little bit of a disappointment. If you think there's another way of getting apps onto here that I haven't found, these are the ones I thought might work, but all the other installers I found were ones you install on your Windows 98 PC and then sync them across using the cable. So if you know another way of doing it without the cable and without having an associated Windows computer, do let me know. I've had a go as they're trying to collect these, but obviously hasn't been very successful. Anyway, that's kind of look at the 620LX. Hope you found it interesting. Display is not bad, stylus is not bad. It's got a working battery. We haven't tried the modem, so we haven't tried this X jack here, but we might try that at some future point. But what I really want to do is get the serial port working so we can at least install some decent stuff on here. It'd be fun to have a go playing Doom. I suspect it's not going to be fast enough to do that, but you know, the question is, can I play Doom? Still to be resolved. Hopefully the video was interesting. Let me know if you have any comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video.